think it's time to go.
From the hills and hollers of southern Indiana to the Lone Star State of Texas, we are the hunters of the paranormal. Truth seekers, mount up.
Good evening, Truth Seekers. We're back again, and we got a special guest with us tonight. His name is Paul Chafin from Kentucky Dogman Research Program. Did I say that correctly there, Paul?
Yeah.
Project, right? It's project instead of program. I'm sorry. That's awesome. Paul's had a lot of experiences and seen a lot of stuff, and he's definitely boots on the ground, and he's got a lot of stuff he's wanting to talk to us about tonight. And without further ado, let's get started. How's it sound? All right. When did you first have an experience with these things, Paul?
Back in 1997.
1997. You know, there's a lot of things that happened back in the 90s like that, because I had some experiences myself, buddy.
It was
Stuff that
life changing.
Yes, sir. Once you see stuff like this, it's like you want to know the answer. You want to know what in the hell it was that you saw. I'm right there with you, man. I've had experience while I was deer hunting, and it changed my life too. When I first seen it, you know, it's taken me years. I hadn't been able to tell anybody about it because, you know, you're afraid of ridicule, and they always think you're nuts if you start talking about stuff that, you know, is outside the norm. But you yourself know that they're there. I know they're there. David knows they're there, and I don't care what people think. They can say all they want, but I know they're there, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's people are mean, you know, like they
Yes, sir.
I can't tell if they're just mad because they don't see it or they can't see it or what, but yeah, there's some hateful people out there.
I think they get scared because they don't really want to believe that they're out there. Some of them. Some of them are that.
People mean just in the cryptid groups talking about a Dogman believers group, and they'll treat you like, you know, it's unbelievable.
Dogman believers only.
Yeah,
you know,
Dogman believers only, and you go in there, post a picture, and the next thing you know, you're getting stoned to death. It's just, man, we know the cryptid community shouldn't be that way, but I found out real quick. I found out in like,
you know, there's
how toxic it was, and it's better just to do your own thing if you're all about the research and go from there and leave all that stuff alone.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many elements to this, whatever this phenomenon is, or these beings, or whatever these things are. There's so many elements to it that nobody's ever going to be an expert. And honestly, the way that they treated the Indians and, you know, the indigenous people around the world, if these beings are, you know, like a type of people yet undiscovered, or, you know, or creatures for that example, the first thing they want to do is put them in a zoo and do studies on them. I just kind of hope that they just get left alone, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So,
that's what Earl said last show. He doesn't like to call them creatures. He likes to call them beings, which I thought was cool, you know. But,
oh, yeah.
You know, everybody has their own opinion on it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming on here, Paul. We really appreciate it in such short notice.
Yeah, it was awesome. Problem, short notice, and we got a surprise tonight with him coming on. I've been begging him for a while. Sorry about that, Paul.
It's an honor, man.
But dang it, David. All right, I'll come in your show. I promise.
How?
It's great, Lee. I've learned a lot from Paul, and him and Kirk have been nothing but brothers, man. I'm talking. Once they saw, I guess, this picture. Y'all there?
Yeah, we're here. Go ahead, David.
Once they saw pictures and stuff, and I was ready to hang it up with certain groups, I got depressed and was getting, kicked out of certain groups. And you know what? Kirk and Paul stuck by me, and that meant a lot, to keep doing what I'm doing and forget everybody else, and that means a lot to me.
Well, I mean, like all these people that's hateful and there's all these slick comments and stuff. All they do is make me strive to
Yes, sir.
to get clearer pictures, to get better footage, to get more evidence and stuff. So now, I mean, I don't want to brag, and it's hard for me to say it without it sounding like I'm bragging, but I really do believe I've got the best, at least top 3 pictures of Dogman ever put on social media.
I agree.
That is awesome, man.
I'm going to go right here. Can y'all see this, or am I blocking y'all?
Are you sharing your screen?
I was going to show you one to pause real quick. Hold on. It's on the other one.
Hey, Paul, do you the area where you're at? I know there's a lot of coal and stuff there, but is there? Do you have any other like strange phenomenon that happens there? Like, do you guys see lights in the sky and anything like that around that area?
Where I'm from, like right now where I live, it's all flat land. There ain't no mines. There's rock mines around here, but like where I'm from is about 3.5 hours from here in eastern Kentucky.
Is it?
From the mountains? Yeah. But there's all kinds of spooky things going on around the mountains.
Can y'all see this one? Sorry to interrupt.
Your screen. I don't think your screen is sharing your screen there, David.
Okay, hold on. This is an awesome picture. Sure.
If you go to where it says screen share by the camera, you can click on that and it'll share your screen.
Okay.
They one of my bosses where I work at, she grew up around the coal mines down here, and she said they would see lights in the sky at night coming over the coal mines. And one night, I guess she said a UFO flew over, and she got a good look at it. And that was my boss that told me that, one of my older bosses that I had at the time. And then some other people that I knew that lived around that area, they would see stuff in the air over there. Yeah. But I live close to some military facilities too, so who knows what they're messing with. We've got a big a base down south of me. It's called Crane Naval Base, and I've been told that the people down there refer to the Bigfoot down there as the rock ape, and they see them all the time inside the inside the facility. But it's one of them areas where you can go in and deer hunt. There's thousands and thousands of acres. They'll let the public come in and hunt and stuff. My cousin worked down there, and he said that what happens is, there you go. You shared the screen. Oh, wow, that looks good, David.
Yeah, I put them on. He's got some really good ones right here. I wanted you to check out. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
There was one in particular I think he got recently. Man, these things, like, watch them at work and everything. It's crazy.
Anywhere there's a tree line and there's people around, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're their entertainment. Like, well, what's up, buddy?
I don't really know. I don't really know what their motive is. I mean, I've took people out with me before down here to the river, and I took a couple people out, and they won't even go back with me no more.
Wow.
Yeah, because
we growled at and run off.
I think people like me and you, kind of not that we show no fear. It's just, okay, this one right here is one of my favorites. Let me click on it. It might not do justice because I screenshot it from my phone. I hope you don't mind.
Shoot, I don't care.
Can y'all see that, or am I blocking again?
Yeah, I can see it. I could see an ear. It looks like an ear peeking.
Yeah, I wish it was on Paul's picture because when he got it developed, man, you could make the nostrils, the eye, the pupil, everything.
Which one?
And then it
What are we
almost
talking about?
looks like his the photo right here, the one with that you were going to put in the documentary, I think. The
Yeah, I don't
baboon
think.
nose.
Oh yeah, I'm not seeing it. It ain't showing it on my end. All I see is your.
Okay, what about now?
Can you click on that, David, and maybe enlarge it a little bit?
Showing. I mean, it's still showing the screen. It just kind of froze up, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's still not showing it.
I can see. It looks like a half a face peeking around the trees. What I can see.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's one of his best pictures. But that one don't do it justice from the screenshot.
So
got another one here.
Oh yeah, hold on. I'll show you something.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. I knew he would have something good. Awesome.
Yeah, I keep a book too. I write everything down if I go out, and if I see, I just try to keep track of everything. It's never the same when you go out.
Have you noticed any weather phenomenon, Paul? Like when you see these things or have an encounter? Oh wow, yeah, we can see that good.
That's a good question because
yeah, I see him back in there.
Yeah,
it's got that shiny stuff on it though.
Yeah,
that's why it's hard to see.
Boy, you can really pick them up with that camera back in the back with the dark. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff. Wow.
And then this right here is probably the best picture that I've got. Just me personally, because this is what I set out to get. This is the picture that I set out to get, and I know it's probably hard for some people to see. But if you look right here,
I remember that.
You can see it. You can
standing
see its
up
foot.
one.
There's its foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Up its leg right here.
Yes, sir. Oh wow.
You can see his face. His hand, his right hand is holding that branch right there.
Yeah,
real lurchy looking.
And you can see where the like the hawks of the leg like kind of bends back a little bit.
Yeah, you can see his toes right here.
Man, that's an amazing picture. Yeah, that's definitely top 3.
Well, I wanted to, I set out to capture one, a canine on 2 legs, and there you go.
Got it.
Wow.
Can't keep the blue-eyed bandit down. Shit.
That's awesome, man. That's good stuff. Thanks for sharing that with us.
That's in the Daniel Boone National Forest. That picture, that's where I got that at.
Awesome.
If I ever get away and need another friend, I think I found one that wants to go with us.
Oh yeah, I got a thermal image camera, Paul. That it's just one that attaches to a cell phone, but I figured out a way to mount that thing on my vehicle, and I drive at night down in the area where I had my experience and shoot it back up in the woods. But it's weird because like all the times that I've ever taken it down in there, that area, I don't know if there's some kind of energy down in that area where these things are at, but my camera blurs out every time when I drive by. Have you noticed any electrical interference with your cameras?
I've got some pictures, and I've got a picture. David's seen it, where everything in the picture is clear. All the leaves, all the trees, the weeds, everything is clear except for this big blob, and it looks almost like a portal or something. It looks like there's arms and faces and legs coming out of it everywhere. It's
yeah. See, we were talking about that the other day, Lee. Remember that? Like the manifestation of creatures and like coming out of a portal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Scott Copper, Paul told me about the beliefs and Scott Carpenter and a lot of his research, and he's caught some portal looking stuff too that's just out of this world.
Well, I mean, like we use the word researcher, but I guess more of an investigator, but
people like you. I mean, in my eyes, people like you that got years under their belt. I know people say no experts in these cryptids, but hey, in a way there is in my book. It's just
well, Scott Carpenter,
you can have your stripes and it doesn't necessarily mean you're an expert. You just got you got your stripes and research.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing this for fame or money or none of that stuff. So I mean, that's why you don't really see me interacting on social media and stuff. I just don't,
Yeah.
That's
where I'm at with
it. Yeah, all those Crypticons. Lee said he went, and who was it you saw that was acting all macho? And I'll get old Paul talking about Matt Moneymaker here in a minute. He said he met somebody and was just like a prick. They're basically there for
the
money and charging autographs and all that shit. And, forget all that. I mean, I could understand being famous, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, fear sells, I guess. That's the main thing. What we're showing the pictures, like, listen, I know there's big, mean, scary ones out there. I know for a fact they are, but they're not all big, mean, and scary looking. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. I don't think that's what's being sold. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just can't. We're taking the mystery out of it, and there's people high up in the community that don't want that done.
Yes, sir. You know what, Paul? If these things, when you go in the woods, like I know you go back in there deep in the woods and stuff. If these things wanted to get you, man, you'd never make it back home. Never make it back home.
I mean, they'll give you warning signs, and if you ignore them, then something probably happened to you. But they don't. From what I've seen now, just my own personal experience, they give you warnings, and God even gave you a warning system. All these things, when you're out in the woods and the woods go quiet and your body starts feeling weird and you start feeling like you need to get out of there, you know what I'm saying? The best thing to do is get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's your body telling you it's time to go.
Yeah. I got hit with some kind of all I could say is I got deathly sick. I don't know if it was energy or what it was, but I was in a valley and I was looking for mushrooms is what I was doing. But then this place where I was at, it just looked good for maybe Bigfoot or whatever lived in there. And there was big rocks in there. And I thought, as big as them things are, they could pull them rocks out and get behind and get into a cave system and pull it back, closed. And you'd never know they's even in there. And there was this hole right by these rocks. And I was like looking up in that hole. And as soon as I stepped up there to where that hole was, I got hit by something. And I got deathly sick. But on the way in there, I kept hearing whistles, like something whistling. And I could hear something walking like parallel with me down in there. But it stayed far back in the bush that I couldn't see it. And so what I did was I just acted like I wasn't sick, even though it was all that it took for me to get back up the hill on the top of the ridge to get out of there and get to the car. But I just acted like nothing was going on and just walked away and went on back to the car.
Did you hear that video I posted, the one with the growl in it?
No, I didn't. Where can I find that out? Because I would like to hear it.
It's just in. Are you a member of the group?
No, sir. I got it. Is this Facebook group?
Yeah.
I kind of got away from Facebook, and I tell you, it's because I joined with a group, and then I just kept seeing all this negative stuff. Like nobody was ever mean to me or doing anything, but just the way they were talking to each other, I thought, man, this is so childish. I don't want no part of it. So I kind of backed out, and I came over here to Telegram, and we started the group over here. But if I can get into Facebook and look, so I'll go over there and check it out sometime.
Yeah, David, he can send it to you. It's on or I can send it to you, whatever.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about website? I mean, your
No.
Facebook group?
Yeah, the one that's got that growling at the video.
Yes,
I posted. It
I actually tried to. Yeah, I wanted to send that on. I tried to send that video onto Telegram earlier because I wanted Lee to hear it. He's got he's actually got one growling, and then but it looks like him either taking off running or after you heard the growl, you took off running.
No, I've got the video. I've got the full video I can send you. But when it growled at me, I had my thing on a tripod, or not a tripod, but a monopod or whatever you call it, on a stick. I had it on the stick about level with my eye, and when it growled at me, I lifted the stick up and like just put it down, like carrying it like you would have, I was carrying it horizontal instead of vertical, but I didn't run, Lord no. I just backed up like 30. I had somebody with me too, so I pulled my gun. I just took about 30 steps back, but you just have to understand where we were at. I didn't see it. I didn't see the creature that growled, but I should have. I should have seen it.
It was that loud and audible that it should have been right there where you could see it.
It was close.
It was very loud. It was very.
Well, I mean, even as loud as it is in that video, it just didn't do any injustice. You should have been there.
Wow. Could you feel it? Like, did it reverberate through you, or
I mean,
you just heard it?
I've never had any problems with feeling any certain way other than, that level of fear hitting you. But I think that's primal. I think it's something that's built into you. I'm not sure if it's something they can inflict on you or if it's just something your body picks up on.
Right.
I don't know. But, yeah, I've had that a few times. I've had the urge to bounce, to get out fast, and I'll stick around and stay, because I don't care.
Have you had any visits, Paul, with any let's say government people or any Men in Black type people? Have you had any encounters with them?
No.
Nobody following you or nothing? Well, that's good.
They don't have to, man. There's people all over Facebook that'll discredit you for them.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right there. And here's one.
False, people out there getting our information when in reality we know who they are.
Well, that's the dissent that's on the those Facebook pages and the people bickering back and forth, and that's all a big distraction. And sometimes people are paid money and put in place to do that just to create the division, so that divide and conquer. You know what I mean?
It just takes one person to create doubt, and then.
Yeah, just one little seed, one little seed of doubt.
Well, I mean, my group right now has got 740 people in it. I've turned down more people than that to get into the group. Way more.
That's good, man.
Tell you, man. Paul's group is amazing. You're not going to put up.
No.
We're not going to put up with no bullies, let alone Paul, and I won't either. So, man, you're going to love the group. I'm surprised. I thought you were already in it, brother.
No,
it's not like any other group. We don't deal with drama. We don't deal. I mean, if anybody's there to laugh and mock, humiliate people, bully people, they're gone. That's it.
That's good. That's real good.
I mean, and for the most part, I haven't really had a lot. I've had a couple of people I've had to kick out, but I won't put up with no laughing emojis, none of that bullshit.
No,
I have a feeling.
Good.
I have a feeling.
That's good. That's good, Paul.
I mean, somebody like David, for example, or anybody else, if they go to that Dogman
jealous ass people, and I have a feeling I know who it is, but if they're jealous, we're doing something right. So, like I said, haters are going to hate. Haters have everyone says.
We got to lag.
Yeah. If people, I don't know, people are just hateful, man. I don't even know that it has anything to do with Dogman. I think people are just.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't have to do with dog. It's like people, bullies in high school. You got bullies everywhere. It's just comes with the territory.
They get on them groups. Some people get on them groups just because it's a social thing, and they want to. Some people just want to get on there and be a comedian at your expense. Try to make you look bad, and that's what some of it is. But it's not good either way.
Right.
But life's too short, man. We got to do our own thing. We can't worry about all this crap.
I mean, think about it. Somebody like David goes into one of these groups and posts his pictures, and then he ends up getting laughed at. Well, he pulls his pictures down and gives it up. To me, what if this research was the only thing keeping him off drugs or keeping his life together, and then you just laughed him right out of it to where he don't
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You couldn't. Very well put, Paul. Very well put.
I appreciate that, Paul, because it was a hobby, but it was also like getting real to me, because what I was seeing in the pictures, I was like, oh, shit. Okay,
and somebody
I'm on to something, and then the more I went out and got pictures, I was like, I'll be damned, there's more. And then
somebody like me would like to see those pictures, just because somebody that don't want to take 2 seconds to look at a picture don't care, like somebody like me does.
Oh yeah. The people that judge take a quick gander, and they're like, oh, I'll just laugh it off. They don't even. And I'm like, what are y'all doing in a cryptid group? It's ridiculous.
I think if you're not posting pictures, then shut up. You shouldn't be commenting on anybody else's.
There you go.
And I've said that before. You'll have to forgive me in the comments and delete it later.
I mean, it's the truth. I mean.
Well, I said some things like basically get off your podcast keyboard and go do some research. I was aiming at I'm not going to name any names, but hey, it is what it is. I've had my hey, they're in my rearview mirror. I'm not even going to let them. I'm not even going to let them touch me. They got numbers and viewers and all that, but we're not about that. Me and Lee will tell you all the time. It's about getting the people to know the truth about all these things that are going on. We've been lied to long enough, and we're tired of all the lies. And if we can wake up one more person, whether it be with whatever, cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, anything, we've been lied to about many things in our life, government, whatever, and all this Corona stuff. If we can help one more person, then that's what we're all about. We just put it all out there and talk about it. We're not experts, and just go from there.
I mean, I'll take anybody that wants to go. Anybody that can get here, come here. I'll take you. I'll show you. I'll take you into the area. I'll take you into the area.
I just want to go when bears aren't active. Here I am worried about a bear when I'm out there hunting dogmen. I think it's fun.
You ain't gonna see no bears.
Nah. Hell, I'd go in there with you, Paul. It might kill me, but I'd go in there.
Hey, Paul,
if it's gonna kill you, I'd be dead.
Hey,
yeah, that's right.
If it's our time, I'm gonna empty the clip no matter what.
This out. That growl that I got on video, I went down the day before I got that. I had just got this thing. I had just got it like the day before. Well, the next day I went down there and was just going to try it out. I couldn't get nobody to go with me, so I went by myself. And I had only planned on just like not going far, but I got down there and I ended up walking out there, and I didn't have nothing ready. I got out there and set my bag down. I unzipped it and I was on a point, it's like, just imagine a long riverbank, but there's a creek that comes out of the river bottom into the river. So you gotta the beach comes to a point, and where that creek comes out, and you got to jump across that little creek over to the other side. But I stopped on that little point on this side and was getting my stuff out, like my camera and all that stuff. And I looked up, and there was a dog man walking down the beach on the other side, walking right at me, probably about 30, 40 yards away. But he was walking right at me. And at first I thought it was a mountain lion. That's what it looked like. In the face, it looked like a mountain lion. But the more as it got closer to me, I noticed that its ears was sticking straight up on its head really high. Its ears was like that long. And they were sticking straight up. And it kept walking right toward me. And I was just standing there holding my shit in my hands. I couldn't have done nothing. And it just it made a left and walked right up the bank into the tree line. And that's the day that I got all these pictures I showed you. I got all them, that baboon
Wow.
and that other one. And then when I got home, I showed these to one of my friends, and he's like, "Oh, I want to go down there." And keep in mind, I was there all day by myself. There wasn't a soul around. I took him down there. And this time, when I got out of the car, I got everything ready. That way, when I got out there, all I had to do was hit record. And as soon as we got out there, I hit record, and I got about 30 seconds in, and we got growled at. So we wasn't there. We wasn't there 5 minutes when we got growled at.
You were being observed from the time you got out of the car, wasn't you? They probably heard you pull up.
I don't know if the guy that was with me maybe had something following him or what made them growl. But now I was down there the day before by myself, and nothing happened. But he went with me. It's the only thing that was different.
Well, Paul, they might be used to you, and then when you bring a stranger, they're like, "Oh, hell no, I don't know who this is. You kind of betrayed our trust."
Well, I mean, if they are, we say supernatural or spiritual, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't know, different dimensions. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it either. But if that is the case, then I would imagine that they are able to pick up or see other spiritual things that may be following you, or your demons that follow you around or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Well, like Scott Carpenter said, these things are really diverse. You might go down there and run up on a dogman that's lost his mom, or he's kicked out of the pack, he's just pissed off, he's in a bad mood. You might get one that's heartbroken. You just never know with these things. Everybody like to assume that these are just big scary creatures, and they're all out there doing the same thing, walk around showing their teeth, big muscles, but I don't think that's the case.
You brought up a good point there. He could have had something, he might have even been a little scared, and that thing could have been picked up on his, up on the fear coming off of him, maybe. And
and that's another thing. Let's just say these creatures are spiritual of some kind. I don't believe that they're made by God, but I do believe that they are. I believe they're spiritual. I believe they have a spirit. Let's say a spirit, I guess. But if they do, and that's the case, then I would imagine that they, a demon is always looking to inhabit something, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
They're disembodied spirits. So, I mean, if you was to take them down there around a bunch of dogmen and one of them was to get possessed, I'd hate to run into it.
You betcha. You betcha, buddy. Yep, you got a good point there. You deer hunting, Paul? You deer hunter?
That's what I was doing when I had my encounter the first time back in 1997.
Is that the one where you was up on the ridge top and it walked by? You could see its elbow.
Yeah.
So that was you.
Yeah.
This is just what I think. I've got you, buddy. You're back, David. I got a buddy. I got a buddy here that I met when I turned my deer in. I got a nice deer, and I took it in the processing plant, and he worked there, and he hunted over by where I found my footprint, and I could hear him over in there. And the area where he had his encounter, he saw a tall gray Bigfoot and two black ones, and it was him and his brother, and they threw rocks at him, and they whooped at him and took off. And I got to talking to him, and what me and him kind of feel like is, how like when a deer, like a big buck or whatever comes in, if you make eye contact with it, a lot of times, if you keep staring at it, and making eye contact, he's going to sense that you're there, and he's going to run out of there. He's going to take off out of there. So what we got to thinking was, these things kind of know your intention before you even get there. Basically, they know whether you're going to be good or you're bad. And I don't know if you've heard anything about the study about hair, Paul, but they had about the Vietnam veterans, the Indian trackers. Had you heard that?
I don't know if I heard that one or not.
The military brought in these Indian trackers, and these Indian trackers, they They had the ability that if the enemy was coming in, they could sense the enemy before the enemy even got in there, and they could get the men out before they even made contact with these, with the enemy. And so they got to doing a study, and what they found, like when you go in the military, the first thing they do is they shave your hair off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would shave the hair off these Indian trackers, and it was like they lost all their abilities. And so, they lost all their abilities, like their sixth senses and stuff. And so what they ended up finding out was that the hair follicles, which totally makes sense, is your hair follicles are hooked directly to your nervous system. And the hair follicles acted like an antenna for these guys. So what they did was they left their hair intact, and these guys continued to still have their abilities. So, with a Bigfoot or a Dogman, think about the hair follicles that they have all over their body versus what we have, on our head. So these things are like an antenna with the signals, picking up signals all over the place and probably from a long way.
Mm-hmm. Buddy, there's just, the more I go out and the more I find out, it just creates more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
have you tracked him? Have you tracked him, Paul? The Dogman? I know.
I have. It's really not something you can do unless you. You just have to spend a lot of time in an area, reviewing a lot of footage. And now I'm to the point now where when I go out, I know where to look. Like I know where.
Right.
I know the techniques, the tactics that they use to hide. I know that they're always going to make sure that what's behind them is going to match the same color as their fur, So, Now I don't know if some of them have the ability to be green or to cloak or to just, like that documentary. I don't know if you've seen it with Mark Zaxby, Bigfoot, A Hidden Reality. I've talked about it before, but if you go in there and watch, he shows what Bigfoot hair does under a microscope when you hit it with outside light sources, and it's some pretty amazing stuff. The hair turns green; it gets a green hue to it when you take light away from it.
It's almost like a fiber optic. It almost acts as a fiber optic.
And then when you hit it with light, with an outside light source, it almost looks like crystal, like it. I guess would look like a mirror, like a bunch of little mirrors.
Wow! So that would be able to blend right in like a chameleon.
Yes, yeah.
Because it would reflect its surroundings. Right.
Now I've never seen a Bigfoot. I've never really. I don't know. I've never even seen. I've got one track cast here from a Bigfoot track. That I'm absolutely sure that it's a Bigfoot track because there's no way there was a human out there barefooted where I was at. No way.
Yeah, that's the way with the one that I found. And I tried to track the one that I found for probably a good 45 minutes because I thought maybe it was a little kid that was out there or something. But, as strange as that might sound, you don't want to leave a little kid out there. And, it was fresh. That track was fresh. It had just been made. I could hear him running off. And I tried to track it, and I didn't find one other footprint. But it was close enough to this creek where if it was a Bigfoot and the mom had the baby and went to set it down, the foot would have hit the ground, and it would have been cold because it was like 45 degrees that morning, and it would have jerked its foot back. But it made a little impression in the ground. And hold on, guys. Let me see if I can go get my picture. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to show Paul my picture. Hold on.
I've spent a lot of time in the woods in my life, and I would never even pretend like I could track one of these creatures or sneak up on one or even. Like he said, they know you're there when you pull in and get out of the car. Like. Humans are so loud and obnoxious and stupid. Like even when we're trying to be quiet.
Yep, I know that. I know that from fishing.
Yeah, you can't even sneak up on a deer, let alone a Bigfoot.
I know that from fishing. I go fishing, and I'm like, there's people out there already acting a fool. I'm like, shut the up, man. So I can imagine you going out there doing some research, and there's already a bunch of crazies in the woods.
Well, listen, that day that I got growled at down there, me and my friend.
Was there some people down there?
Yeah, they were camping.
Oh, there you go.
About the length of a football field away.
They
wasn't camping. They were junkies living down there in a tent because they couldn't pay their bills.
But there you go. They're pissed off, I bet.
Brave, man. They were brave people. I know that.
Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
Is that the juvenile print?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the toes and everything. I got another one. Yes, I did. And here you go. Here you go, Paul. I don't know if you can.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Oh, wow. That is tiny.
Yeah. And you know, like a little baby's footprint is like really chubby, but this thing was long and slender.
I've got one just like it. I got a picture of one just like it.
Do you really? That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Man.
It
about the same size.
That's all. Was it in April when you found it? April or May?
Sometime over the summer. I don't remember which month.
Sometime.
I could look through my pictures. It tells me when I took it.
I like how you're keeping records of all that stuff, Paul. That's awesome.
That's one thing. That's one thing I've been doing too, and I notice a pattern in weather. Like I don't know, could just be coincidence, but like I can't get a picture in the summertime for nothing. And then after unless it's after a good rain, and Paul told me that, he goes, go out after a rain, and I was like, okay. I did it. So I did it, and then next thing I know, there's 10, 12 pictures I haven't seen before in a few weeks. It was.
And
it was
crazy. Like that day we got growled at. Like when we walked down there, you got to remember now. This is a river. Like when I got growled at, the river was only like probably about 30 yards to my left. Mm-hmm. So it's all sand. So when we walked out there slow and easy. So it was very quiet. So we didn't make any noise at all. So
I was going to ask you if you had sandy soil, because that's what the river bottoms are like here where we're at. Sandy soil.
Yeah. Well, and like it looks like the rainforest there. Honestly, is what it reminds you of.
Triple canopy.
It's really thick canopy. It's just hot and muggy, and it's like a rainforest. It really is.
Yes, sir.
It's a very large area too.
Mm. How many acres would you say it is, or is it miles, Paul?
I would say I don't know how many acres, but yeah, it's it's an old boat ramp is what it is. And on both sides of the parking lot is a big river bottom where people cut trails through and ride four-wheelers and stuff in the summertime, and they go down there and swim and hang out and party. It's in the middle of nowhere, literally. It's you ain't got no service, nothing down there. But,
Paul, I think that's something else that plays into this is the areas that I've found mine, there's no service. And I shouldn't probably give it away, but I think that it has something to do with the cell phone signals. And you know what? They follow the power lines. A lot of them, they say, will follow the power lines. But I think there's something electrostatic or something going on with them.
I believe there's a lot of people that go down there and party and hang out. And I think that's why they're there, honestly.
Yeah, like an observation place.
Yeah, because I can't imagine why else they would be there.
Well, if you had, if you were living like they are, like where you're this mysterious thing that nobody ever hardly gets to see, the best way to train your children would be to take them and put them around these things and say, here we go, we're going to hide from them. How like a deer will do the same thing. They'll bring their babies up and run away just to teach the babies.
That's why Bigfoot will, like when you go somewhere up a road and you come back and there's a big log in the road, Bigfoot will do that. They'll lay logs in the road, stack rocks, do whatever. And then when you get out to try and move it, they'll let their young sit there and watch. They can see the inside of your car. They can see how you move, your actions. So, I mean,
this area where
I've heard they do big scoops of dirt too. Forgive me, Lee, for speaking over you.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead, buddy.
When you mentioned that, I remember a lady saying she was driving her road and there was always these, it looked like big, mounds of dirt, and she didn't understand why. And of course, now she does. It was them.
Mm-hmm. That area where we go back in there, it's like 7,000 acres, and there's a road that goes in there, and there's a sign by the road that says this road's no longer maintained by the state. And basically, we used to go to dirt, but there is some gravel in there now. But there's been many a times there's trees knocked down across the road going back in there, and especially in the springtime.
Well, I mean, I can imagine they probably do that for different reasons. Maybe they just really don't want you in there. But I can't imagine if you go up a road and come back and there's a big tree pushed down across the road. I mean,
it's basically saying you were in my hood and I don't want you around here anymore. Is the way I take it.
When you go in there, do you feel them? Can you feel them watching you? Do you have this sense about like? I'm in their home. Maybe I'm not supposed to be here.
Absolutely. I know they're there.
Because that's the area that I go into. I've even taken my mom in there, and she said, I don't like it back here. She said, I feel like somebody's watching me, and she said, it's like I'm in somebody else's home.
Well, now Kurt Stokes can take you to some places that, like I didn't see nothing, but I just had my hand on my gun the whole time.
Did you?
I every time, the further we got, I just kept turning around looking at the car like, oh, we're so far away from the car, man.
Yeah. When when you get, go ahead.
Kurt can go out there and go to sleep. I can't do it.
No, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if you'd been out.
That's true. Boots on the ground, man.
I mean, if anybody wants to go out there at nighttime, that's for somebody that's trying to have an experience. I've already had one. I don't need to. I already know. I'm a Dogman knower, not a believer. I'm a knower.
There you go. I like that. Dogman knower. I like that.
Speaking of that, episode, what was yours, Paul? Episode 52, to let everybody know again?
354.
354.
I'm sorry, man. I heard it the other night, and I might have got it confused with Ryan's. I'm not sure, but I was like, okay, there's Paul's, and I listened to it, and you said you were hunting, right? Or
yeah,
basically you're basically just chilling. You needed a break.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you saw it off in a distance.
I got up late that morning, and I sat around until like noon, probably 11, 12 o'clock. I sat around just debating on whether to go, and then finally I went I really didn't feel like it, but I went anyway. And really, I just walk hunt, man. I've always been that way. I don't really hunt out. Like I said, I was poor. I couldn't afford no tree stand. Didn't have one. Didn't have a 4-wheeler. Didn't have none of that stuff. So I had a shotgun, and I just literally walk out the door and across the road and up the mountain.
Keep your eyes on.
Yeah, and
tell us about the day of that encounter. Could you tell? I think you said it went to all fours too. Could you tell how tall it was from how far you were?
Yeah, we went back up. We went back up there later. Me and one of my friends. It was between 7 and 8 foot tall. I would say closer to 8 foot.
And the big bodybuilder type, or was it slender?
It had muscles, but it wasn't like out of proportion, like stupid big looking, But
you said it did notice you, but it didn't pay no mind, or
it never looked at me. Now, I'm glad it didn't. Now,
thank God.
I'm glad it didn't look at me, because I mean it scared me real bad. Just me seeing it, I can't imagine had it turned around, stopped, and looked at me. I probably would have,
Well, yeah, your brain's processing. Your brain is processing.
Yeah, I forgot I even had that gun. Like that gun was used.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, can you tell? Do you remember whether or not you were downwind of this thing? I'm sure if you was stalking deer, you was walking with the wind in your favor.
Well, I was on a ridge, coming down a ridge, and the ridge dipped down, like it went down and then back up. And there was a little logging road that come around, like it would be to my right over the hill. That logging road come around, and it went right through that gap, right through that low point in the ridge over to the other side. And it had grown up with weeds and stuff because it hadn't been traveled in probably 50 years. But it came out that road, and it never broke stride from the way. When I first seen it, the direction it was going is the same direction it was going when it went outside. It was on a mission. It was going somewhere. It wasn't worried about me. So
had something else. Had something else in mind.
Yeah, and I think when it went outside, it had to have went over the hill, and I think it would have been awkward. Just now looking back, I think it would have been awkward for that dog to try to go downhill on two legs. Like
that makes sense.
So I think when it went down, because I seen it, it was just so fast. Like I think it went down on all fours.
Did it have how like they talk about the when the dog man's standing up on two legs, was its hands in front of it like a kangaroo, like hanging down? So like a bear, when a bear can't go down a hill very fast either, right? Is that how it goes? They can't go down, but they can come up pretty quick.
Yeah, a bear's back legs are longer than their front legs. They can't run downhill. So not very fast anyway.
Note to self. I'll put that.
Wow.
Downhill.
Like I said, Lee. Like I told Lee, I said, "Hey, I'll be rolling down the hill."
Nah, I'm eating. There ain't a hill nowhere right here.
Hey, if we went with Paul in the woods, hey, he'd be outrunning us back to the car, and we'd be left behind, David. Hey, we could be bait for you. We could be bait for you, Paul.
That's what I feel. Yeah, Kurt's already going to be at the truck, and then Paul just has to get away and then shoot. I'm out there all night like that show Naked and Afraid with the Dogman.
I always put together a plan out there that I was going to run down.
Help me!
If something happens, I'm running down into the river. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying my best to swim to the other side of them.
Hey, you know what? Lee, didn't you say that you got lost with your daddy, and the best way to find civilization is find a creek and then follow that bank?
Yeah.
Sure enough, y'all found. It took you a couple of hours, but y'all found. Y'all found a house and I think a restaurant or something.
It was a house, and we got back to the main road. But my dad was in Vietnam, so his military training. Wow, cool, man. I like that. That's awesome.
I couldn't get the other toes because it was like on a little bank.
Like a bank, yeah.
Yeah, and
you can see where they were at. The toes where the other toes are. Yep.
I mean, it's
wow.
one of the widest.
You can tell that's a foot ridge. Look at that. Even without the
wow. Hey, one of these times we're going to go out there and Bigfoot's going to leave us a middle finger imprint in the ground. that'd be a cast, wouldn't it? I like that. That's cool, Paul. That's badass. Wow.
That's really the only. I mean, just how wide that is, man. There ain't nobody foot that wide.
Oh, hell no. That's good stuff, man.
Wow.
I've got track casts everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Paul's even got some scat.
Well, it used to be scat. It was whatever it was had been eating a lot of hair.
Kind of like a coyote.
Yeah, I mean it was
Dogman, Sasquatch, Coyote.
Well, after the scat, after it did whatever it did, been out there for a long time. It was just like a gob of hair left.
Just it deteriorated over time.
Yeah.
This encounter that you had, that really lit a fire under you, didn't it, Paul?
I mean, it didn't at the moment. But like this was in '97. There was no internet, and there really wasn't nobody where I'm from trying to hear anything about that, So.
Having to keep
absolutely.
The only thing I knew of was a werewolf. Like all I had seen was something in the movies that resembled that. And no matter how much I tried, I couldn't convince myself it was a bear.
Right.
This thing was walking with its hands out, but they were like palms up, almost like it was carrying something, but it didn't have nothing in its hands.
Nothing in its hands. Huh.
That I could see, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Palms up, but its hands was in the front of it, right? You said it was dangling down. Huh.
Yeah, like its elbows was down by its side, and its hands was kind of up. Like,
wow,
I don't know, it was weird. I don't know. The whole thing was weird, but that was weird, you know.
Yeah,
it didn't look unnatural to me, like its movements, you know, like
it didn't or didn't.
It did. It looked unnatural.
Unnatural.
Wow.
There's
it could be just because I've never seen anything like that before, but you know.
Mm-hmm. When you first saw that, Paul, like when the first encounter I had with whatever it was I saw, I still don't know to this day what it was. But when the first thought when you saw it, were you like, what the hell is this? Am I really seeing this? Am I really seeing this right now?
Oh no, I was in it. Well, when I first seen it, like I said, it halfway through the distance that I seen it, like it took it like half that distance for me to even, because it was so black, you know, like you couldn't, like when I say black, I don't think you understand, like
it was absorbing.
You've never seen the color black I'm talking about, never.
Right.
And it didn't, you couldn't see movement, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to really focus, and it had to, I guess it moved its arm in a certain way or something. And then once I seen that elbow, then my mind started, like, I don't know if maybe it was my mental block or something. I don't know. But once I seen that elbow, I started putting things together. Like then I seen the chest, then I seen the hand. Like this was a side profile, so you know I didn't get a great look, but I could see its ears. Its ears were sticking up, but back, like you know.
Wow. Did go ahead, Paul. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I've got one picture on that I've seen that I've came across, just like artwork that resembles what I saw. It's really the only one I've ever seen that resembled it.
When you said this, it didn't look natural when it was moving. This is going to sound weird, but did it happen to look like it was floating? Like a smooth gate, or was it? It wasn't smooth.
Yeah. At first, it did, until I started noticing body parts and stuff. Like, I just knew that it was something large, and
I had a guy tell me, "Go ahead, Paul." Sorry.
It was just something very, very large.
Wow.
I knew that it was large, but I didn't know what I was looking at.
Something large and in charge.
Yeah, I've never to this day still seen a bear in the wild. I've never run up on one, and I've got hundreds of hours in the woods. So I mean,
I had a guy that came here. They were putting a smart meter on. That's a whole nother story. It was a show, but anyway, we got to talking about different things, and I asked him where he hunted at, and then he was telling me he hunted down around the river bottoms where I had my first encounter. And I said, you better be careful down in there. I said, there's things down in there that people don't have a clue of what they are. And he started telling me he saw something in the woods, and he said it was this big black blob looking thing going through the woods. And he said the way it moved, he said it looked like it floated. Like it was so smooth, walking so smooth that it looked like it floated. And, you know, like you're saying, as black as that is, like that thing is like absorbing light. Like it's like you can't see any detail in it at all because it's that black. Like it's a black you've never seen.
Well, and it was also a dreary, like November gray sky day too. Ooh, you know, and it was in the evening time, and you know as well as I do, it gets dark at like 5:30 in the winter time. So I mean, it wasn't dark out by no means, but it was, you know, probably about 45 minutes before dark.
Just prime time.
I have a question, Paul. I remember on a couple other shows you said that you could basically spit on a cemetery. There's so many in your neck of the woods that, there's a theory out there that these are guarding cemeteries and all that. What's your take on that?
I don't know, because unless there's a cemetery in a couple of these places, I just don't know, man. Everything that I previously known, things just keep evolving, like
it's hard to stick to. I know I'm the same way. I'm on the fence about a certain subject, and then something else will be like, okay,
I had to have a starting point when I started all this, and I was certain that they were just flesh and blood, just whatever they were flesh and blood. I was sure of it. Now I know they're not. There's more to it. There's more to it than that now. And we say supernatural, we may have been able to at one time to have these abilities that these creatures have, but we've been dumbed down for hundreds of years through the government, through our food, through our TV. We've just been dumbed down and made stupid.
They're basically being called supernatural just because they're smart. That shouldn't be it.
Or they have abilities that we don't understand.
They just became one with nature, with the outdoors. They
right. Exactly.
I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. I don't know. I'd love to find out, and I feel like I'm really close, but I just don't. I don't have anybody to go out there with me.
Man, I honestly feel like if I had to put all my money on the table from what I've seen with your pictures, Scott's portal pictures, I really think these are maybe not all Sasquatch. Maybe there is a human / hybrid ape type, but I'm talking about what comes out of these portals, and I think Dogman, and I'm still on the fence of the I'll say supernatural, but
well, some of them
offspring of Nephilim, whatever you want to call them. I think they manifest into. Well, why can't they manifest into a physical form to where they bleed?
Good stuff, man.
This one right here is solid. That's a solid creature.
Yes, sir.
Some of them I got almost look see-through and
mine too.
Green and
yes.
It's just
I don't know. Almost spirit-like, and it's like okay, there's another spirit-looking one, and then I don't know. I think they manifest into a spirit form, maybe, and then maybe that's why people see them running and chasing cars. They're already in that spirit form and so full of anger and fear and put into that person, they had enough fear put in them to manifest into that form. I don't know.
I got a quick question.
None of us will know, but go ahead, Lee.
Paul, that river bottom where you're at, you was talking about the cemeteries, and you didn't know if there was any close or whatever. Is there any Indian mounds? Are you close to any Indian mounds around there?
Not that I know of. There's not down now. Like I said, I don't know. This is also a Civil War area. Like Camp Nelson's right here. So I mean, I don't know. I've got 2 or 3 different areas here that I go to, and 2 of them have graveyards right on them. So the only place that don't is the river down there.
There's an area here where people have seen, deer hunters have seen them. Bigfoot down here, and there's a cemetery in one of the forests over here, and that's where they see it a lot, is around that around the cemetery. And they also see them around campgrounds, like where they pull in RVs and stuff. They had sightings around the campgrounds, like you said. Go ahead.
Do you think that they are? Do you think there's just 2 different things going on, like a spiritual side to it and a flesh and blood side, or they're just both the same, or what?
Well, I don't know if you've heard my.
I've thought that, but I just can't. I can't come up with the answer to it.
I don't know if you've ever heard my story. I don't know if you heard it or not, Paul, but I know that this is going to sound weird, and I'll probably get wooed out of here for saying this. But my grandfather claimed that he'd met people, that this guy, it was basically a guy that told him that they came from the planet Venus. And my grandfather thought he was crazy. David's heard this story. But anyway, long story short, the guy, he asked my grandfather if he could go anywhere in the solar system, where would he like to go? And my grandfather told him he'd like to go to Mars. And he said, if I could arrange it, would you go? And he said, yeah, sure, I would. And so my grandfather goes and picks him up, and the guy directs him out of town, and they go out of town, and he tells him to pull down this lane, and this lane goes back into this woods, and they drive the car up into the woods in this lane. And he said right inside the woods was this square field, and he said sitting in the middle of this square field is a silver disc. And they basically got out of the car, they boarded the craft, and he said there was other people on there, other basically Venusians. He said you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between them and us. That's how close they look to humans. And so they get in and they start to take off. And my grandfather saw the Earth, and how it looked. He said it was beautiful. And he said, in just like the snap of a finger or the blink of an eye, he said they were they just like shot straight to Mars, and it was coming down into the atmosphere. And so they started telling him, they said, now we're going to take you down here into the surface, and we're going to show you that there's life here. And he said they told him in no way, shape, or form we had to try to make contact. We're not supposed to do that. I don't know why, it was like that's their protocol. And so they land on the surface, and they get out. And my grandfather talked about how there was great big boulders and all this, kind of like the pictures you see of what Mars would look like. And he said they show him that there's inhabitants that live there, and he said they were peeking around the boulder, and he said, here they come up out of the ground. And that these things, but they, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Andrew Basiago?
Andrew Bashago,
Yes.
guy that said he went to Mars?
Yes. That's what that story reminds me of.
I have heard of him, but I didn't even know who that Andrew Bashago was back when my grandfather told me this.
Right.
And but anyway, I asked my grandfather. I said, "Well, what did these things look like that come up out of the ground?" He said they were about 7 to 8 feet tall. He said they were covered in head from head to toe, and he said they looked exactly like a Bigfoot, like what the people have taken pictures of Bigfoot here and claimed that they look like. So I believe my grandfather, because he wasn't into none of that UFO stuff or anything. He never ever talked about any sci-fi or nothing. They didn't watch sci-fi, nothing. And he even had a witness that knew this guy that had an experience with this guy also. But anyway, over here where we live at, I've actually captured a picture of a UFO. I was going to try to show it to you on here, but we see them here every once in a while, and I think maybe there's even a connection there. So you talking about the spiritual connection, and then I think there's an extraterrestrial connection, tell you the truth.
I saw one of physical too.
I'm trying to think of what show it was on. I can't remember if it was Sasquatch Chronicles or where, but that guy, I know you know what I'm talking about, David, where that guy takes his motorcycle and he goes out in central Kentucky out to that old abandoned rock quarry, and he's out there, and that Bigfoot is crying and screaming. A little baby was hung in a fork of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he goes to that woman's house, that old woman, and she's in there taking care of them. They're living in her house.
I know what you're talking about, Paul. I've heard it.
Yeah, well, that woman told him that when them Bigfoot become a certain age, that they have to leave with the star people. And,
yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know
so,
what? I think I have heard of Kent Henson talk about that. And, when you hear that, you think, wow, that's on such another level. I never even thought about that, but hey, who am I to judge on someone else's theory that we're all in this for answers, and man, that really says something.
And
go ahead.
No, I was going to say I have heard that more than once about the Bigfoot and UFOs and stuff, but I didn't hear it until later on in my life. But, you know, I heard that story back when I was like 12, 13 years old. And my grandfather, he didn't want to even talk about it because he had so much ridicule that my dad said that he'd seen him crying, talking, you know, because people made fun of him, never believed him.
That's why I think about it.
I
That's
know,
why they
know
made,
that feeling.
they made the Planet of the
Yep.
Apes movie to distract us. You know, let's make a movie about Bigfoot on a planet, and you know that'll distract everybody. And of course, they made one.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
there's I don't know what they are, where they come from. I don't know none of that, but I just know that they are there. There's some strange shit going on around them. Like,
yes, sir.
I've got so many orbs that it would blow your guys' mind, and I'm not talking about bugs either. I'm talking about straight up
I'm glad
orbs.
you say that. I'm glad you say that because we've had people on the show. You know, they've done this years and years, and they haven't seen one orb or one UFO.
I heard
they automatically discredit that, and man, I've heard too many cases. I've heard it's almost like 70%, 60 to 70%, maybe half and half. We'll see the orb.
Everything I'm talking about, that growl that I'm talking about, the orb, all that stuff is in my group on Facebook. You can go in there. Anybody can go in there and watch it.
Yeah, I remember the orb, and I want you to post if you can. I couldn't find it. Post the man, Lee. You got to get in his group, and don't worry about all that. Lee.
As long as they keep all the nasty stuff out of there, the comments and stuff.
Paul is the admin. He won't put up none of that crap.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
He also has one of a blinking eye, man, and that tripped me out. That's a good one. In the bushes, and you can see the eyeball blinking, man. And I was like, wow, I would have ran the other direction,
dude. That video you're talking about with that eye. Yeah. Like when you come down to the boat ramp, the main road kind of comes to a dead end, and it turns into a little tiny 1-lane paved road, and you go down that little road probably about 50 feet, and then the parking lot opens up, the boat ramp. I was standing on that little strip of road off the main road there, filming across the road. Like a car drove by in the video. I edited it and cut it, but a truck real loud drove by, like in between me and that creature, you know, like, so they're right there. The more people that's down there, the more activity. And I mean, right in the parking lot. You don't have to leave the parking lot if there's people down there.
Wow. And you can still see activity. That's amazing.
They come right to the edge of the tree line.
You know, I've got a guy that I'm going to try to get him on here. He's a deer hunter that I know. He put his deer stand up, and he went to go and hunt it, and somebody else had put a deer stand up right next to him. So he got kind of mad, and he said, "Well, I'm going to go back in there and take that out and move it somewhere else." And anyway, he took a buddy with him back in there. I think is how the story goes. Or he might have done it by himself, but I think he had a buddy with him. But anyway, he saw a light up on the hill, and he thought it was the other guy that had that tree stand, and it was coming down the hill to talk to him. So he waited, and basically he said what happened was this: it was a greenish color, and he said it was about the shape of and size of a football. And he said it floated down the hill, and it came right up to him, and it was an orb. And, like football-shaped green orb. And he said that this thing would float up to him. And he said he would reach his hand out like he was going to try to touch it. And he said the thing would back up just far enough that he couldn't touch it. And he said he didn't know what the hell that was, but it creeped him out. And then he said that the thing finally just took off.
I've got that one on there. And, like, as I'm recording it, I see the orb while I'm there in real time. Now, very rarely does that happen. I don't see these creatures in real time until I get home and review the footage. But now this time when I was down there, I got that orb. I seen it and that creature with eyeball that was blinking. I seen it too. So, and you can see in the video when I'm showing the orb, I tilt the camera back to make sure there's nothing on the lens. I thought maybe a bug was crawling around.
Yeah.
So I tilted the camera back and looked, and then I go back and it's still there. The orb's
that
still there.
That makes you a good researcher, Paul, because you're always looking for the answer, whether it's the debris on the lens of your camera. I like that because, when I see something like that, I try to always say, well, what is that? Or, try to,
I'm very critical.
Don't. Yes. I'm the same way. I don't just jump on and believe everything that I see or hear, you know what I mean? But I'm critical just like you are. I debunked a ghost one time. One of my coworkers kept saying they had a ghost in the house. And I said, well, why is that? And she said, well, every time I go in that room, she said, my radio will kick on. And so, I've been a DJ for a long time. And I know that when you get dust or whatever on the knobs or whatever, if you move a certain way, it can kick buttons on or off or whatever. And so I told her, I said, when you go home, I said, look at the button on your that radio. And I said, is it a knob where you can turn it on or off? And she said, yeah. And I said, you check that knob and see if there's dust on there. And she did, and it was dusty, and she put it back on and never had a problem again. But it was kicking on because she was walking in there, and that dust was just had enough dust in there to where it would kick it on and off.
Wow.
But dust does some funny things. But those orbs, there's something to those orbs, Paul.
Well, the orb that I've got that I'm talking about, that David was talking about. Now this one looks it's got like a reddish pink tint to it, and it's like it looks like it's about that big around, and it just floats around real slow like this, like on camera, and it moves around. But now I've got a bunch of these the little white orbs. They're real tiny, and you can see them come out. Like you can see the Dogman on camera, and you can see these orbs come out of the Dogman, go through the trees, like it'll weave in and out of the trees, and it'll go and disappear into another one.
Wow.
I don't know. I've got so many of these on camera. It's not even funny.
It's almost like Avatar, man, where they feed off energy off them trees or something.
You can tell the difference between a bug and one of these orbs. They're just. You'd have to see it to know what I'm talking about, but there's just a real blatant difference in them.
Oh yeah, big time.
I've heard a theory. I've heard a theory on some of those orbs, and nobody knows whether it's true or not. But how like they look like they're lit up or whatever. That it's some kind of technology that extraterrestrials have, and it's the end of a fiber optic, like a fiber optics thing. Like they can actually observe with it. I don't know how it works. It's almost like they're stepping out, like the veil or the dimensions or whatever. How like they talk about there's dimensions and stuff. It's like these things can pop through and move.
I get the vibe or the feeling when I'm out there and I see these orbs. I get the feeling that those little white ones have something to do with their cloaking or camouflage abilities.
That makes sense.
Either that or the orbs are Dogman themselves. I don't know.
Lee, that's funny he says that because remember Mr. Patterson film before the Sasquatch started talking to him? You remember all the white orbs that were around the tent?
Yeah, and it shot up. It came through the tent wall. You could see it come through the tent wall, and it's in the wintertime, so it's not a bug.
Yeah, and it almost even has a face inside the orb. It's wicked.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
Yeah, we're trying to get
have
him
you
on
blown?
The future, and he's got some amazing Sasquatch. He actually talked to one for I'm not sure how long, but man, it sounded amazing.
Who did?
Michael Patterson.
Yeah, you need to check that out, Paul.
Ontario, Canada. Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. You can this thing you can tell it like it's having trouble breathing, like saying the words, like communicating with him.
It's almost it's almost like it's instead
lung
of
capacities. Yeah.
Instead of breathing out, it has to breathe in to talk. It's weird.
Yeah.
I got a splinter in my thumb here. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just digging it out while I'm talking to you.
That's all right. Hey, we're digging it. Good job, man. I had a picture of an orb that was taken. Me and my somebody took a picture of me and my dad one night and around a fire. And if I can find it, I'll post it. But it's an orb, and if you blow the orb up, you can see an Indian in a full like chief's headdress in this orb. And my dad's part Indian, so I often thought that he.
Well, my mom passed away back in October of last year.
Sorry to hear that, Paul.
And it just seems like that's when things took a real drastic change, like as far as field research. Because my mom was real,
supportive of you.
Yeah, my mom, she believed me. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I mean, she listened to Dogman Encounters and all that stuff. I don't think she cared much more for it past entertainment, but
yeah.
But she believed me.
Mm-hmm.
But
have you ever seen any UFO stuff, Paul, at all?
I haven't. On the way to Florida one time, I seen a light up in the sky, and I was actually talking to Kurt Stokes at the time on the phone. And I was just looking. One of my friends was driving, and I was looking at the sky, and I could see a light up. We were on the interstate. And as I leaned forward to look at this light, it went bam, and it was gone. All you see was a streak, man. That thing shot off so fast. There's no way we don't have anything like that.
You definitely saw one.
I was we used to cocoon hunt with my cousin down where I had my experience, and they'd gather together every once in a while, they on the back roads and just shoot the shit and talk and drink a little beer. I'm not a drinker, so I never really partaked in any of that. But anyway, there was these farmer that we knew, and he had a
Lee, you were doing cake stands last night. Come on.
No, sir, I can't, man. It I'm allergic to it. I don't know if it's the Indian or what, but I can't. I just can't do it.
Hey, it's a good thing.
I'm a weenie, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't drink either.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I heard this conversation between these two guys, and the farmer guy, his grandparents owned the farm. I mean, he was like a farm hand for him. But anyway, he had a buddy with him, and he worked with him on the farm. And he said, "You remember that time we pulled in up here at this lot, and we was actually sitting in the place where it happened?" He said there was some corn silos there. And he said, "You remember that UFO that was over that corn silo?" And I guess he said, "Yeah." And the one guy said, "Yeah." And I remember how scared you got. You started cussing at it, and it was like in the daytime. But anyway, we're out coon hunting one night, and same guys, and we're sitting on the back of the truck. They cut the dogs loose, and we're listening. We're listening to them going down in the woods, and it was one of them nights where the sky's real clear, and we were just, I guess we just all happened to be looking in the same area, because here come this light in the sky. It comes streaking in. You know what a meteor or a shooting star looks like, Paul? This thing comes shooting in like a shooting star, and it stopped on a dime, man. And it got real bright, looked like the Star of Bethlehem. You know how like the spiky lights, the Star of Bethlehem, and it danced around. Like it looked like it was moving, like it was wobbling around in one spot. And then just as quick as it came, it just like you said, in a blink of an eye, it just zipped off, and it left another streak in the sky, and it was just gone. Well, I don't know of any falling star or shooting star that comes in, zips in, stops, circles around a little bit, and then zips back off. And like you said, that was so fast, there's no way we had anything like that. And if they do, they're not telling.
It was swamp gas.
I had a friend tell me one time that he was coon hunting, and his dogs. He said he had some people with him that had never really been coon hunting before. Mm-hmm. They wanted to go. I don't know if it was his family or in-laws or whoever it was, but they wanted to go, and he took them. And he said the dogs had treed. He said, so we went to the tree. He said it actually wasn't that far away, and he had an encounter in the area, but with the Dogman. But they went to the tree, and when they got there, he said he said I could see the eye shine from the coon up in the tree. He said, so where it was on a hill. He said I walked back up the hill a little bit to where I could kind of get instead of shooting straight up, I could shoot straight across at it.
Straight on at it, yeah.
Yeah. So he said I shot at it. He said this thing come out of that tree, and he said when it got down to the bottom of the tree, I guess one of the dogs went to grab it, and when that dog grabbed it, he said it exploded. He said,
wow.
When I tell you it exploded, he said, I mean literally, it blew up and exploded and blew guts and blood everywhere. It's almost like it had a bomb inside of it or something.
Wow.
Or as if a dog bit into a water balloon.
Wow. And it just exploded.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. That just hit me. You mentioned coon hunting. That dawned on me. I had forgot about that story, but man, there's just so much crazy stuff going on that we don't know about. Like I feel like we've probably, even with the Dogman stuff, just barely scratched the surface of what's out there.
Absolutely.
I've got some strange looking creatures on camera. I've got reptilians on camera, really clear, like not blurry pictures, really clear pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I've got pictures of all kinds of different entities, little tiny people, all kinds of stuff.
You know about the Flatwoods monster over in West Virginia, Paul?
I do.
That thing supposedly looked like a reptilian. If that thing's out there running around.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's hard to say, but nothing surprises me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. How about the Cherokee Little People? You know about the Cherokee Little People?
I mean, I've listened to J.C. Johnson and Ron Shaw talk about them a lot,
mm-hmm.
but if you want to listen to somebody that probably knows about it, them are the guys.
J.C. Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, go back and watch his videos.
There's a, do you know about it's a website called Skyships Over Cachers. It's www.skyshipsovercachers.com. And this woman has wrote a book about the Cherokee Little People. And she's got like UFO sightings, pictures. She's got Bigfoot, Dogman, all that stuff on her website. But it's Cachers, North Carolina, I think is where she's out of. But anyway, there was a school there and they were digging like to add on to this university. And they hit this tunnel system, and this tunnel system was about, I think she said it was like 3.5, 4 feet tall. And you could see where they had tunneled it out and made it to where the roof kind of has an arch on it. I guess if you dig a tunnel, you want to make it where it has an arch on it so that it's strong and it doesn't collapse. But anyway, they followed this tunnel system. I don't know if somebody got in there and crawled in or what they did, but they followed this tunnel system, and it ended up in a Indian burial mound, I take it. And there were little skeletons in there of the Cherokee Little People. And this guy had brought out the skull and some of the bones, I guess. And he was a professor at the university, and he had it sitting on his desk for years, they said. And there's a guy on there, he's like in his 80s, and he's given his testimony of, seeing the skull and when they were digging it. I guess he was, part of the construction company or whatever that was working on it. But, and somebody told me one time, they said, think about how big Bigfoot and Dogman are. If there's little Cherokee Little People out there, that's how good they could hide, being little, which makes sense. We don't know what's out there in this world, but we do know, like we are knowers that there are things out there that are running around that if most people saw them, they wouldn't be able to handle it. They'd go nuts. I don't know if
it definitely is life changing to run into something in the woods like that. Sometimes I just wish the people around me just had an encounter. That way they could, the people around me, my girlfriend, my godmother, all these people, they believe me. They've been with me. So
Yeah.
I mean, they
Uh-huh.
they know, but I just feel like people don't care, man. They just don't. To me, an upright walking canine, just that being real. What else does that mean? Why are they real?
Where'd they
And
come
then
from?
and then that led me into the Bible, like trying to do research and trying to figure things out. That led me into the Book of Enoch, which led me into looking into whether the Earth is flat and round, just based off Bible scripture. Like right now, it's impossible. A lot of people don't know this, but it is impossible to believe NASA and believe the Bible is the Word of God. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of it's once you start looking into it, man, it branches off into so many different directions, and you just don't know what we've been lied to about. Like,
Well, if okay,
So-
say like if a UFO landed and door opened up and these people got out and they looked like us, right? And they claimed to be just like that guy claimed to be from Venus that my grandfather talked about.
right.
If these were people from the government that came in a craft that they already had and landed, and they told you people, if they told the general public that they was from another planet or whatever, people would believe them. They would believe it.
Well, what I believe the UFOs and all that stuff are probably coming out of the ocean.
I think
would
so too.
imagine. Coming from underground. I don't know if they're demonic or. I mean, like when you think about the war that happened in heaven between God and the devil. When you think
Yes,
about
sir.
that, you think about people on horses with white robes and swords and shit. But what if it was more like Star Wars?
Absolutely. What my take is on it, and I could be totally wrong, is there was this war in heaven, and the devil was fighting against God or whatever. What if we, are here right now because we got kicked out and we have to have a human experience just to get our way back up, just to try to get back into heaven, to prove that we're worthy to get back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's just a thought, but this sure isn't heaven. This sure ain't heaven down here. I can tell you that much. You just look around at look at what Hollywood's doing to the children, man.
The devil took what, a third of the angels with him?
Yeah, I believe so. That sounds right to me. It's what I've heard.
He took a third of the angels, and just I read something in the Bible one time that said Jesus could summon 70 legions, or 70,000, or 70, like I don't know, like 70 legions of angels with one word. He's got that many. Like I don't know what a legion is. Like it's like thousands of.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to have 70,000
legions,
wow, of angels ready to go to battle for him with just one word. So I mean, I can't remember the number it was, but it was an outstanding number.
Paul, have you had any like out of body experiences or anything like that?
No, I've
astral
never had anything like that. I mean, I've had some strange experiences happen. As far as like, I don't want to say ghosts because I don't know. I used to believe in ghosts, and I still believe there's something. I still believe there's something. I'm just not so sure that it's our dead relatives. Like,
I agree. I think it's a
trickster. The Bible states, to be absent from the body is to be in the presence of the Lord.
Yeah, good. Yes,
they show up that way. The devil's a trickster.
It's appointed unto man to die, and then after that, the judgment. So,
I talked to a psychic lady that I know, and she's actually I guess you could say a white witch. She actually prides herself on claiming to be that, but a witch. And I love her, but she's a good friend of ours. But she was telling me, she said that these people that go out and ghost hunt and stuff, that they one of the things that it'll either be a spirit of a little boy or a little girl a lot of times. And she said, what better a way to get people to lower their guard down than to look like an innocent child, but when in reality it's a demon.
Well, and
that's tricking you.
I didn't know this until probably about a month ago or a month and a half ago, but God, it said necromancy, which is ghost hunting.
Mm-hmm.
People who use the stars and the moon and stuff to tell the future,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's forbidden.
God finds that utterly repulsive.
Numerology.
Yeah, and it said God is driving these evil spirits out before you.
Yeah. It also says in the Bible, anything outside the earth anything out in space is basically demonic.
Oh, witchcraft. Witchcraft was another one.
Mm-hmm.
Even the word pharmakia, which is like pharmaceuticals, that means like witchcraft.
Yeah.
Wow.
I seen that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure does.
I mean, there's just so much. Like I said, even with the Dogman and Bigfoot and all that stuff, anybody that's doing real research and trying to find answers is going to, it's going to take you. You're going to go to the Bible. You're going to go to different places to try to figure things out. And you just start finding out other things that you didn't know and things that,
Have you ever heard that in the Book of Enoch, they describe Antarctica in the Book of Enoch? Have you ever heard that, Paul?
I have.
Like this talks about a mountain range or something that was in Antarctica. Now, how would they have had that? Yeah, I think they were more advanced and had more knowledge than what we probably have now.
God, it says in the Bible that there's a firmament over the earth.
A firmament, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could probably interpret firmament in different ways. I don't know, but go ahead.
What is your take? What is your take on the firmament, Dave? Does that mean that there's the waters above us? Is that what the firmament means? That there's waters above us? Or I don't understand that word. I really don't.
But no, that's what it says. It separates the waters above
the waters
from the waters below. Yeah.
Huh. So and there's another thing, Paul. How the hell do we know what space really is, and what do we and what is the moon? And what are these planets that they claim?
Well, and then when you start, anybody that does any research, like these names, Dogman, Bigfoot, Flat Earth, are all stigmatized words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you even mention Flat Earth, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's just that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was
But anybody that can look me in my face and tell me that we went to the moon in 1969, but we can't go back in 2021, needs their head examined.
I'm right there with you, Paul.
Absolutely. It's just now whether the Earth's flat or round, I don't care.
Lee showed me some stuff that would blow you away on these mountain ranges, and you can tell they were
Photoshop.
They match up they match up exactly to the freaking. What movie was that, Lee?
2001.
2001 Space Odyssey. It matches. I mean, I guarantee you can match it up, and it's so obvious, man.
You can see how it was made on a set.
And also a cardboard door. Come on, man. That thing looks so flimsy. But come on, they could come up better than that.
Have you seen that footage? Have you seen that footage, Paul, where they're trying to get in the space station and it's a cardboard door?
Yeah, it's a cardboard freaking door, man.
Well, then it shows
that's like a Saturday Night Live skit.
It shows the lunar module take off from the moon, and the camera pans up with it as it goes. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, there's like even from California to New York, there's a delay in the feed. Like when you watch the news, somebody will talk and then they got to sit there and wait a minute and then they'll respond.
Uh-huh.
Well, there was like an 18-second delay from Houston, Texas to the moon, they said. But yet they could operate that remote control camera from Earth to watch the lunar module take off. Come on, man.
Hey, you know how hard it was for us to get a channel all holding the foil and all that, and then all of a sudden we had amazing video quality from the moon. No, come on, man.
Yeah.
So obvious.
Richard Nixon talking to guys on the moon and from the White House, and I can't even get a signal out here camping.
Yeah, thank you. Hey,
Yeah.
It always goes, hey, we can build a man on the moon. You know, we can always fly a man to the moon, but we can't get a freaking signal on Earth. Yeah, it's because we never got the fucking man.
We got all these satellites in the sky, but yet they're putting up cell phone towers everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm learning about that, man. I've done some research, and a lot of those symptoms that people have, the dehydration, headaches, body cramp, man, I've been having those for like 2 weeks. And come to find out, I think they're working on a new there's a new 5G tower in the works.
Well, I want you guys to think about something real quick. Right now, according to NASA, there's people in Australia with skyscrapers and cars and homes, and they're all upside down right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in a bad shape over there in Australia. You know it, Paul? They're in a bad way.
Yeah, they are.
Hey,
I do too.
We can't forget about Paul either. Which, by the way, hopefully you didn't lose anybody, man. How did that go?
What?
With the tornado.
The tornado.
Oh man, that hit Western Kentucky. Hit down around Land Between the Lakes.
Yeah, you're lucky though, man.
Yeah, that's about 5 hours away.
Those tornadoes can spawn so quick, and man, I heard that and I thought, oh shoot, man, I got to get a hold of Paul. And you sounded all right, and I knew you was good because you said it was already past you.
Yeah, it was.
Thank God, man.
I mean, we had tornado alarms and stuff going off here, but nothing happened. We had some bad wind, but
prayers to the family that went through that, man. That news footage was definitely hard to see, man.
Well, my neighbor, who was also my boss at work, he's got family that live down there, and like right there, their home and stuff got destroyed.
Wow. Did you hear about the militia that showed up there, Paul? It was about 30 of them, and I guess there was doctors. It was made up of doctors, nurses, EMTs, and all these different people and from different professions that they had started a militia. It's called CAMP, CAMP, Constitutional something deal. But anyway, that's what the guy was doing, the 3%er sign. But they showed up with tracking dogs to track for lost people and stuff, and they didn't wear any plate carriers. They didn't carry any rifles with them or nothing. They didn't even take so much as a machete to clear the way for themselves, and all they did was wear patriotic T-shirts, and the fucking sheriff kicked them out.
I don't even go to the bathroom without my gun.
Yes, sir. Is that a P365?
No, it's a Canic 9mm.
Canic 9mm.
Yeah,
well, that's cool. Good for you, man.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
I got a shotgun. I got a couple of guns.
That makes me upset, Lee, that the sheriff would kick him out for helping, man.
He said, and his excuse was, you guys can't be here because you're going to make me look bad. Well, I'm sorry.
Our policemen are I don't want to say all terrorists.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing. That's the same thing going on with David Pilates right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
These national parks won't give him these lists of missing people because he'll make them look bad.
Hey, did you hear? There you go. If you listen to our show with old Bear on there, man, he gave Mr. Pilates a good old ass chewing, old fashioned ass chewing. It was awesome.
Wow.
He basically called all us researchers a bunch of idiots and Sasquatch believers idiots and morons and.
David Pilates did?
No, David Pilates said this about
Bigfoot researchers don't take it. That's what
Bigfoot researchers. Yeah, missing 411 guy.
Well, yeah, but you gotta understand. I've listened to David Pilates talk about it before, but you gotta understand there's Bigfoot researchers and then there's Matt Moneymaker.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I'm saying?
I knew Matt Moneymaker was coming.
Yeah, but there's just the Bigfoot community is a very hateful bunch of people.
It is.
Hey, Paul.
It is hefty.
And the Dogman community, too.
What about that guy? Is his name Tom Biscardi? You don't hear much about him anymore. Is he still out and about?
You know, and you don't hear much about Todd Standing either. I haven't heard from any of these people in a while.
Do you remember, Paul? I brought this up in one of our shows here recently, but do you remember back? I don't know, it was a few years back where these two guys, they claimed that they had killed a Bigfoot and they put it in a freezer and they were going to thaw it out. Is that his name? And he's going to do a big reveal, and it was a hoax. It was a hoax.
Either it was I don't know. Like, you know, I've had people warn me before that not to cross the line with the pictures.
Wow, really? So you got a warning then?
Yeah, from somebody pretty high up in the community. So, you know, they just said it'd be a real shame, you know, you either get up on this podium or tell them it's a hoax, or it'd be a real shame to find all that kitty porn on your computer.
What?
Well, yeah, I've heard that, and that's scary. That is some scary stuff right there.
Wow.
Because they can make anything happen.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
Yeah,
but it's a scary reality.
I believe it. That UFO witness we had here for years, he wouldn't shut up, and he kept talking to the media, and he woke up with a 50 caliber bullet in his mailbox, and he shut up. Got the message. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a story of that Vic told me when I talked to Vic on the phone for a little while. He was telling me a story about a guy up in the Sierra Mountains. I guess a couple of guys. Yeah, I guess there was a couple of guys that had heard tell that there was a dogman in an area, so they went up and put trail cameras up. And apparently now this dogman walked right out in front of the trail camera. They had bait hanging from a tree. They said, Vic said that he's seen the pictures. Vic said, I've seen them. He said, this dogman walked right out and looked right at the camera. And
I've heard of this. Yeah. Vic actually saw the video of this. Yeah. I've heard of this.
But they, anyway, now it's disappeared. It's gone now. You can't find it.
Yeah, it actually showed it standing upright and grabbed it.
Yeah, it turned its back. It turned its back to the camera to mess with the bait. But he said when it first came out, he was looking right at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, of course that video disappeared.
Well, he said after,
somebody had
that guy put it on YouTube, and then that guy ended up making like one of those URLs where you had to ask permission to see it. And then after that, Vic said it just disappeared altogether.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it gets bigger than the URLs, and they're just like, oh shit, people are catching on. We got to get this out of here.
Well, I mean, you heard that story on Vic's show. I can't remember what episode it was. Or no, that wasn't on Vic's show. I'm sorry. That was on something else. Where that guy shoots that dogman.
It was on something else, because I was like, hold up. Vic Cundiff saw a video of a dogman.
That wasn't a video. It was pictures from a trail camera.
Yeah,
that was Vic.
But it was like pictures where you could see it moving, right? Like steel frame pictures.
Yeah. Like a trail camera. But there was another story I heard where a guy shot a dogman at a campground.
Mm-hmm.
What was that on?
Is that the one? Is that the one where it spun it around?
He shot holes in his.
He supposedly shot it in the head, and it spun it around, and it dropped it.
There was the two guys over beside of him.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in that one. I think that was Tennessee or Kentucky. I want to say Tennessee.
I want
to say Tennessee, but it was definitely Dogman Encounters. Yeah.
No, I asked Vic about it. Vic said it was.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Wow,
I think it was on the confessionals, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely heard that. What other ones I listened to? Definitely.
That was a good one.
It was
though,
definitely.
right?
He went. Did he go? Did he go with another guy? And they had this like. He was like a sniper, basically.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he said that. He said he had the perfect headshot, but apparently missed. Yeah, but the momentum of that bullet, can spin you around. And it knocked him out. His name was Brad. Yes, it knocked him out, I guess, and they went and checked on it, and this thing woke up, and man, it was like a movie. It woke up, and it wasn't good.
Wow.
To me, it sounded. It sounded to me a little made up.
Get about.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
Paul, one more question, man. I've always wanted to ask you this. In your family, I know it's hard to talk about pops and all that. Did he ever have any cryptid sightings, or what about grandpa, or maybe great grandpa, or was it always just you?
I asked my dad about it and my grandpa, and
Mm-hmm.
my dad told me that they seen something one time. Him and one of his friends, they were hunting. He said he didn't know what he saw. He said it was moving really quick, and it made a lot of noise as it, you know. He didn't really go into detail and tell me about it. This was before I ever had, and he didn't actually tell me. I was just standing around hearing him talk. But no, my grandpa, when I asked him, he told me to just never go in the woods without a firearm.
Grandpa
And
knew.
that's all he ever said to me.
I've
man.
heard you say that. I've heard you say that 100 times, man.
Yeah. So I don't, even if I'm just going on a hike with my daughters, I do not ever go in the woods without a firearm, ever.
That's good, man.
There's other things out there.
There's people out there.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean,
That's the most dangerous animal out there is people.
and believe it or not, Dogman doesn't.
You're right.
I don't care. I don't carry a gun for, like, you think that old 9mm is going 8 foot, 400 pound, 500 pound creature?
Nah.
Make it
No.
mad. And even if you did kill one, you'd never get it out of the woods.
Nope. Never.
I don't know if either
you'd have to
try dragging a 300 pound or 200 pound deer by yourself, but
well, I have.
yeah, it's damn near impossible.
Yep, it sure is.
Well, I can imagine shooting one of these creatures and
nope.
you wouldn't get it out. There'd be about 4 or 5 other ones.
Hey, I'm going to keep playing the peace game, and hopefully that works.
Yeah, send him that growl, Dave.
Okay.
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah,
sure will.
I mean, you
Lee,
can hear it.
Lee, I'll send it to you on your messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, you
that'll
can
work.
Good without earbuds, but if I was you, I'd put in if you got headphones.
It's definitely better with earbuds because you can hear the. To me, it kind of picked up 2 growls. I don't know. I might be tripping, but the more you listen to it, it's like a low pitch growl and then like a main one.
Yeah, you'll hear that one though for sure. It's
oh yeah. And then Lee, you got a Kentucky Dogman Project Facebook group?
No, I don't. I hadn't been on Facebook for a long time, but I can get on there. I've got
that's a group you won't be disappointed in. Trust me.
Kentucky Dog. What is it? Kentucky Dogman Project.
Yeah.
KDP.
Okay.
Man, I was part of so many groups, and it felt good to get dwindled down to just Paul's, and then I do my thing.
I don't share mine. I could probably, if I wanted to push the issue, I could probably gain some fame or some notoriety, but I'm not. That's just not what I'm here for. I don't care. I enjoy showing people what's going on, what I'm getting. There's people that I got that I've made some good friends, through the community, and then I've also found out who's who. There's been a lot of people probably turn their back, like the documentary.
It also shows a realness when it doesn't come to money. If that makes any sense.
I appreciate that Paul's as much a researcher as is that much of a skeptic. He tries to debunk things too. I like that. Yeah. That shows that he's a true researcher.
Reminds me of you, Batman.
Yeah. I don't. If I look at somebody's pictures and I don't see something, then I don't say anything, because I get it. I understand. I know. I'm sure there's all my pictures. I can't tell you 100% that every single picture I put out's got something in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now, if there is something in it, I'll tell you. I'll make a post
Yeah,
with it and tell you.
I get to the point where it gets to the point where you're like, whoa, okay, what the heck is this? It's going to get posted.
I found some stuff in David's pictures that he hadn't seen, didn't I, David?
Yeah, that's what I was telling Paul. Paul knows not to delete pictures because there could be something in there we overlooked a year.
Well, and like right now, even now,
Lee saw something in mine that was a picture from a year ago, and I'm like,
well, that's what I was getting ready to say. Like, I've still got all the videos on my phone, so now I picked up on so many more techniques on what to look for in a video while I'm reviewing footage. Now I go back and watch these videos again from a year ago. It's like I've never watched them before.
Yeah,
wow.
That's why I've never. That's why my wife is always like, "Why do you keep all those pictures? You got like 1,800. It's ridiculous, and all these screenshots." And it's because it sounds crazy. It seems like they pop up in these pictures, and I've never seen them there before. I know that's not the case. I just overlook them, you know.
I'm not so much on keeping pictures anymore, but I will keep the videos that I get the pictures from. That way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I got it.
Lee found every time I show Lee one, he'll find a couple aliens riding one and a reptilian, and man, it's just like clear as day. And I'm like, how did I miss that?
Well, I mean, I see things in the video, but like right now, people, if you put more than 2 circles or 2 arrows in our people's heads, explode.
Right. Yeah. I remember you telling me because I used to drive Paul crazy. Man, you circled 2, but man, I see 8 other things. He's like, I know. It gets to the point where you get trained to see them, and that's what's cool.
Yeah, like
even though General Lee has that.
You know, the average person.
You do, man. Some people will see a picture and they're like, what is this? You know, they don't even take the time. Paul knows what I'm talking about. It's like,
yeah, no, they won't.
It's like they don't even look at it. It's a picture, man. Look at it. And
well,
we can all 3 look at something and know right off the bat if something doesn't belong there or looks wicked or weird or paranormal or anything. If it looks like a dog or ears or snout or monsterish or paranormal, I'm going to post it. Even though it could be pareidolia, I don't know. I'm new to this and I've stuck to my guns.
Well, listen, have him. Just when we get off here, tell him or Lee, just message me on Telegram, and I'll send you that.
Okay.
I'll send you that video of that growl and that orb both.
Okay, that'd be awesome, man. I appreciate it. I was gonna share one last thing with you, Paul. I worked with this guy that was a state trooper up in Maine, and I was asking him if he, about different things. Well, he had told me about different experiences of stuff that he had and this and that. But I asked him. I said, "Do you think did you ever have any encounters with Bigfoot, or do you think that's real or anything?" And he confided in me that he had 2 buddies that were game wardens from up there, and these game wardens told him, they said those things are absolutely real and they do exist. And they admitted it to him. But now they wouldn't admit it to us. They wouldn't admit it to us, but they admitted it to him.
They sign a gag order, but they know.
Yeah.
Well, look at it like this. 10 years ago, or hell, 2 years ago, if you came out and talked about being abducted by aliens and stuff and went through all that shit, that the government would threaten you, ruin your life and do all kinds of stuff to make you shut up. But now the government's releasing footage of UFOs. So
and then they had that project. You remember Project Blue Book back in the day? You've heard of that. Yeah. That was to discredit. That was to discredit a lot of that stuff. But one thing that I've heard, and I don't know how true it is, but the movie Close Encounters was actually disclosure. That was actual disclosure. They were showing.
It was definitely ahead of its time.
Yes.
What's that guy's name? Dr. Richard or Dr. Greer or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yes, sir.
He's got a movie called Disclosure, a documentary.
Wow.
But he also got caught hoaxing.
We'll have to check that out.
Hoaxing an alien, hoaxing UFO stuff for people. Like he was charging people money to go out there and look for these UFOs where they do this mind control bullshit to get these aliens to come in. But he had hired somebody to fly a plane way out in the distance to shoot flares out.
Wow. Oh man. And that right there, when people do stuff like that, that makes the rest of us that have actually had these experiences look like nutters, and we're not. Those things are out there, man.
People want money, man.
I know it, man. You said the magic word.
Well, Rick Dyer, did he really have a Bigfoot? Who knows? He may have, but the government may have got to him, and
Yeah, they could have stole his freezer and changed it out and put that in there and said, yeah.
You're going to tell people this is a hoax. You didn't kill nothing.
Yeah.
They're out there for a reason to make stories.
That's a good way of looking at it, Paul. I never thought about it that way. Man, I was so excited when that news came out that they had one. I was like, oh, man, we're finally going to get to see it.
Why would Rick Dyer come out and say that? Because that anybody with a brain is going to take one look at that and be like, yeah, that's fake. If it's fake, it's going to look fake. So
yes, sir.
I don't know why he would do that, and I don't know.
I know. I bet you're. If there was some truth to it, and they really did have one, I bet you're absolutely right, Paul. I bet they made him fake it.
Well, they would.
Yes, sir. They sure would. I never even thought that.
If I was to get that footage, the reason I go out, if I was to ever get that footage, that 100% for sure, Dogman on the open, standing up, I'd never tell nobody about it. I might
say
share
a word
with a few people, but
that's what I did when I got that video, the UFO footage. I didn't tell anybody for a long, long time, and I never called. I never called I could have called the Air Force Base, which is right down the road here, but I ain't calling them bastards because they know the son of a bitches are there. Excuse my language, guys, but
it's just they just document it. Oh, okay, what day, when, and what color? Okay, it's official.
And God knows if one of us was to get killed or attacked while out in the field, I mean, we'd be chalked up to a bear attack or.
I'll tell you some technology that our military's got. I'll just put this little tidbit out there. I know the commander's wife of this airfield out here, and she said they got to go to a seminar where they were showing all the new technologies and shit that they've got. They have a mapping system now that is holographic. It pops up off the table. It's holographic and three-dimensional. They can turn it around. They can see the enemies around the buildings. They can see all that shit. And she said that's a reality. They demonstrated it to them, and she got to see it. So if they've got stuff like that, there ain't no telling what they've got, man. I believe they're hundreds of years in advance of what we have. I've heard they're 300 years ahead of us. Have you ever heard that, Paul?
Yeah. I've always heard that they're 50 years ahead anyway.
50, yeah.
If a new cell phone comes out or something, they've had it already. Drones.
Oh yeah, the cell phone thing's amazing because think about it. It went from flip phone to iPhone in the blink of an eye, and every phone could do anything, even fart and do all kinds of stuff. I mean, come on. It does a lot of stuff, and it did it in a short amount of time.
Real quick before we get ready to go, Paul, what do you think's down in the Antarctic? Why is everybody why is all these big heads of state going down to the Antarctic? Like they're going down there to get permission.
You want my real opinion?
Yeah, I do. I would like to hear your real opinion.
I think there is no Antarctica. I think it's an ice wall that goes all the way around that holds the water in. 200, 300-foot ice wall that goes all the way around. I don't think there is no continent, Antarctica. I think that's where the firmament ends. I don't know. I can't say that. I don't know. I'm back and forth with it, man. Just the more research I do on it,
it is a no-fly zone.
Well, yeah, and it ain't just that. It's
underground bases.
The moon and the sun's not fucking 93 million miles away. That's the craziest thing I've heard in my life.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, God, listen, God says that the earth is stationary. It cannot be moved. He says it sits on pillars. He calls it his footstool. I mean, come on.
Wow. You know,
So
Yeah,
if you
that's
go into
deep.
the Bible, if you go into the Bible and look it up, just go on, look all the verses up that have to do with the earth being flat. And you come back. If anybody does any amount of research into this subject, at the very least, you'll come back and say, man, I don't know.
I agree with you. I just want to know why they're going, what appears to be them going down to, Antarctica or whatever. I want to know.
Did you ever hear about Operation Fishbowl?
No, I didn't hear about that one.
And Operation High Jump?
I know. Admiral Byrd and High Jump. Actually, a guy who lives down the road from us is a second cousin to Admiral Byrd. He looks just like him.
Operation Fishbowl is where they shot nuclear weapons at the firmament.
Yes, sir. And the Russians, and they all kept trying to blow a hole in it, didn't they?
Yes.
That's what they say. They were trying. They saw something they couldn't get through.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you ever listen to Hillary Clinton give a speech, every time she'll talk about that glass ceiling she can't break through.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Hey, good one, Paul. Good one.
Wow, man.
Wow.
Hey, he's observant like someone
yes,
else.
Sir. Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
That's awesome,
person, man. I'm an open-minded, curious person. Now, I can't tell you that the Earth's flat, but I can tell you that the government's lying. And that they'll lie about Bigfoot, they'll lie about Dogman, they'll lie about aliens. So why would they tell the truth about the Earth? Have you ever seen a picture of the Earth from space that ain't Photoshopped? No. We got thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites, and we can't have one single picture of the Earth. Not one.
Nope.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
That's right. You know that Operation Fishbowl you're talking about? The Russians were doing that too. They were trying to blow up shit, trying to blow a hole in it. Why?
Nuclear weapons up into space, like trying to. I think they were trying to shoot through and bust that firmament, or seeing if they could, or what. I don't know.
I mean, what they expecting? They going to flood the Earth again, or what? Man, that's crazy. If that's what it is.
I just don't know, man. I'm like you. I don't know. We've been trained so hard through our lives that the Earth is round that people just don't want to.
Wasn't that you, David, that told me that the name of the library starts out with lie? Library.
Yep.
That they've been lying to us.
Library and television.
Yep. Well, Paul, this has been great talking to you, man. I don't mean to cut us off here, but I know it's late where you're at too, and you probably got things you need to do too. So
I gotta go to bed, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. And, sorry to bug you so much, brother.
No, man, you're all right, bro. I enjoy it, man. I quit doing the interviews and stuff. Just the people, man. The drama.
That's why when I heard you said you would do it, I mean, it means a lot. We try to stay no nonsense, drama free. Fuck, that's not us at all, man. Like your group is, keep it strictly research.
I like to just hang out like
professionalism.
I like to just hang out and bat ideas around and talk and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
I do too.
Yeah. Me and Kurt will stay on the phone for a couple hours at a time, just bullshitting, man. Just talking.
Shout out Kurt, man.
Yeah.
Batting around ideas, man.
Kurt, how's he doing, by the way?
He's all right. Last time I talked to him, I haven't talked to him in a week or two here. I've been busy.
Hey, if you ever want to come on the show again with you and him, man, we'd like to hear you guys talk and have some conversation with you, man. Maybe all of us together can sort some stuff out, man.
Kurt,
you sure brought some stuff to light for us.
Yeah, like I said, man, if anybody can make it down here, I'll take you out there to this area. I'm not everything that I have as far as evidence, pictures, areas. I'm not hiding nothing. I don't keep nothing a secret from nobody. I'm not, which I don't understand why people do that, but they do. But
what's that hiding there?
They keep everything's all secretive and stuff. Like I don't.
Yeah. Well, I don't show my face online, Paul, because I work with the public, and
Right.
you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
I've got cool bosses, and
hiding evidence don't get you nowhere. I mean, look where it gets us already. It's still further down the rabbit hole. We're just trying for more answers, man. We need the stepping stone, you know, because we established they're here. We have researched that they're here. What's the next best thing is my question.
Well, nobody knows. Like he said earlier, nobody knows what these things are. But I feel like I'm probably a lot closer to finding out, or we're a lot closer to finding out than anybody else. You know.
Yeah. Hey, at least we're looking, right?
The same time that Melba Ketchum and them did the DNA on the Bigfoot hair, they also did DNA on Dogman.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yes, that's the one. Isn't that the one that was like
they both came back human,
half human, half animal, and half unknown.
They came back having a human mother.
Both of them. Wow.
They're human hybrids. The mitochondrial DNA or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They had a human mother.
See, that's like that goes right to the offspring of Nephilim.
And you know, they always say that other half is unknown, Paul. And I was telling David the last time that, it may be unknown to us, but you can bet they know what it is.
Well, I mean, if it's got a human mother and it looks like a dog, I can just about tell you what the father is.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
If it looks like a monkey and it's got a human mother, then more than likely it's. But I think the technology that they had back thousands of years ago was probably a lot more advanced than what we have. They were probably doing genes. These fallen angels come down here and showed men how to metallurgy. They showed women how to put on makeup. You know. So
I thought of that too. A lot of that's going on today.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys.
See, I guess. Hey, it was good talking to you guys, man.
Good talking to you. We'd sure like to have you again sometime, Paul. We appreciate you. Man. Appreciate everything you're doing, man.
Welcome back. You're welcome back anytime, man. And you guys support Kentucky Dogman Project. He's got a outstanding group.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anybody that joins the group, make sure you answer the questions, or we want to prove you. You know, like my motto is if you can't take a couple seconds to answer some questions, you ain't gonna
3 strikes. You're out with
you ain't gonna take a couple seconds.
Mr. Chafin, you get 3 dots, 3 black stars. You're out.
All right.
Hey, well, good night, everybody. It's been nice talking to you. It was another good show, guys. Talk to you later. Be looking forward to talking to you again, Paul.
Hey, message me on here and I'll send you those.
Okay,
videos.
That'll work. Yeah, talk to you later, buddy.
You can send them on Telegram too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Awesome. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Y'all.